Are you a witch or a warlock? Have you ever had a run-in with an occult ritual sacrifice and had to break the curse in an indigenous ancient location where mystical portals seem to appear on the side of a mesa? Well, I've actually had that happen to me, and tonight I'm going to reveal some never before seen footage of this location that I have nicknamed the Magic Mesa. Now, I've called this place the Magic Mesa because I'm trying to hide the location because it's full of ancient artifacts, including a ritual prayer circle, 2 of them in fact, and a lot of strange paranormal activity. In fact, in the last few months, there's even been a death in the valley down there. And in the police reports, the person who reported the death said that they thought it was because of a skinwalker. We're going to get into all of that and more tonight here on Carl the Crusher.
You ready?
There is a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past, maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while and turned on notifications, then you're probably already aware of the mystery at the Magic Mesa. How it seems that there appears these strange geometric lights or shapes, almost like a paranormal vapor that appears on the hillside. And we've debunked some of it as vehicle headlights in the distance that seem to appear somehow in the strange geology of the mountain there that causes this sort of holographic illusion that projects off of the face of the mountain into different shapes. But that's not all. We've actually uncovered some video analysis footage that has peeled back the layers of some of the hidden dimensions within the pixels of the video footage and some of the still frames at the Magic Mesa, and it reveals something quite creepy. Actually, I don't know how to describe it, but there's actually faces, there's clear eyes, noses, mouths, hands, and some of these figures actually are the same as on the petroglyphs nearby, and some of these figures or entities seem to appear again and again. In fact, they return on more than one instance. I don't know how to explain this, but it seems to fit with the oral traditions and the ancient stories of this ritual that occurs in the valley and on the mesa, where there's these 2 ritual stone circles where if you do this thing right or wrong, go around the circles one way or another, right or wrong with your intentions, it manifests interdimensional time travel portals or opens doorways to another dimension. So could the mystery at the Magic Mesa actually reveal a cracked open wormhole or portal that we still haven't known everything about yet? We're going to go into all of that evidence and some of this strange ritual sacrifice that I've dealt with before at this location, and we're going to get into it all right now. But really quick, I got to give a shout out to my Etsy store where I've got a whole bunch of awesome posters, coffee cups, merchandise, and more. I've been doing these alternate reality hybrid alien family posters that are actually really weird and really fun, and also some fun skinwalker coffee cups and posters, and I've been throwing in a little bit of my sense of humor. Also, you can get all my Carl Crusher official merch, as well as everything featuring my new signature sunset retro logo that has my autograph imprinted right on the logo. These are all brand new. I've just been creating this and figuring it out the last few days and having a lot of fun with it, as well as I've become an Amazon affiliate. And this is one of the products. This is called the Golden Cocoon Beanie. It's actually an EMF protection and shielding beanie. That's what it apparently does. And this is made out of bamboo and silver and spandex. And you basically put it on and the whole thing is really warm and knitted. It's all has cotton in it, I think so as well. But it's a really, really nice beanie. And the idea is that it protects you from the electromagnetic field. So your Wi-Fi router, all the signals coming off of your computer, you're holding your cell phone up to your head, all the radio signals and satellite signals in the air, basically flowing through your body, through your brain, and affecting your mental health and the way that you feel and everything. And so I've been trying this out the last couple of days, this golden cocoon, and cocoon is spelled with a K. And I've actually really enjoyed it. I felt a lot more relaxed, and my meditations have been a lot smoother and nicer. I feel like my thoughts are more calm. So whether it's a placebo or not, it's also a really comfortable beanie, so I'm going to be wearing it. I always put the links for everything that I recommend down in the description box below, and anything else that I try out, I'll let you know. About 2 years ago, I got a message on Instagram from an individual who told me that their family was helping manage and restore a local location that had ancient petroglyphs, pottery shards, arrowhead flakes, and all sorts of chert piles and lots of signs of ancient indigenous life. And they reported that the family had been experiencing paranormal activity in this valley by this mesa for about 10 years. And what they reported was that these strange lights and orbs would appear in the valley. Sometimes they would even appear as figures at the base of the mesa, or shapes of lights on the hillside, and also shadow figures that would depict either buffalo running or different creatures running across, and shadow figures. And the list of stories were so strange that I had to go and check this place out for myself. And the very first night when I went there, I took my night vision camera there and other pieces of equipment, and the whole place blew my mind. Not only did I experience something that I thought was very real at the time, but it took me months to kind of figure out what it could be, and I still haven't uncovered all of the answers. So you got to check this out. We just saw a second ago completely light up. Yeah, that whole left side. Uh-huh. There it is. There it is. Right here. Look, it just appeared. What is going on? Look at that. It's a perfect square flashing on and off on the side of the hill. It's moving across the mesa to the right. It's spreading to the right. It's coming down the hill like an avalanche. I'm getting it all on camera. It's spreading like a mud flow. The whole mesa is lit up. Now it's gone. Gone! What the hell was that? This is for real. There it is. See it? Yeah. The whole side of the mesa is lit up. This whole lower section. Oh, there's my portable speaker. Oh, it's getting bright. It's just moving around. There's gotta be something behind this. What is going on?
Oh, there it is.
Big square. See that? The big square. I can
Whoa.
see it. Vision there. See it? Oh, look at that! See it? Look at that! Pulsing.
It looks like.
Look at that square.
It's got like a defined edge right here.
Yeah. It's coming down the mesa. Look at it. And
The whole mesa's lit up.
the whole mesa's lit up. You see it on camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
The whole thing's lit up. It's like an iridescent glow. And gone.
Oh, there were shadows going across it.
What?
Yeah.
What is going on?
That is crazy.
Are we at the edge of where like two parallel dimensions are rubbing together like a thin spot? Like
Just jump through.
crawl up there and go check it out. Go say hi to that shadow thing up there moving around.
Checking the day
It's
first.
still going.
Yeah.
It's still all the way up on the left side.
Oh, that shadow. Oh, my God, that shadow. Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. Wow, it is so bright. Well, I can see where I'm pointing this whole thing. Oh, I tried to zoom in and now the light's fading. See this? There's this thing here and then there's something here. Oh, whoa, whoa, I just saw a shadow move really quick across the bottom. Look at that. Okay, and I'm going to request a triangle like with telepathy in my mind, like remote viewing.
Alright, I'll do it.
You do it too?
Yeah.
There it is. That's a triangle. A triangle. That is an upside down triangle right there. See it? That is a triangle.
I'm mind saying.
Now it's a square. It's like a window. It's seriously like just like a glowing, it looks like an opening, and then there's a brighter flash coming across the center. It's like pulsating, but then there's, oh my gosh, there's like a whole yellow, a different color, and it's coming down.
Can you see my point?
You totally, yeah, you're right on it. The sound of the cars at all. Tons of lights right across the bottom,
Yeah.
right on the ground.
Now, aside from all of the shocking, strange paranormal lights that seem to appear on the mesa, and almost like you can talk to it in different shapes of light appear and disappear and effervesce and move across, it's almost like seeing the northern lights or some alcohol vapor, but very paranormal looking. And I don't know if it has to do with the reflection off of the rocks from other headlights passing by. We did figure some of that out, but we've also uncovered a lot of other strange stuff. One of the family members actually reported to me that they found a dead animal up in the rocks in one of the locations with some strange evidence around it. So I decided to go there and check it out for myself. And when we got there, I couldn't believe what I found. It was an entire, almost like an occult ritual sacrifice. There was different like magic cards around the object. There was a dead animal wrapped up in some purple fabric. And then there was even like a sigil painted on a rock. And I filmed the whole thing. And the only other place I've ever shared it is on my Patreon until right now. I am hiking the family, the property owners up to show them what looks like a ritual sacrifice or an animal burial with some occult markings to see if they know who the animal belongs to. Does any of this look familiar to you guys? Like the animal?
No.
No?
This looks like a cat.
I couldn't tell if it was a cat or a dog. Looks like a cat to me now.
Yeah, looks like cat teeth.
The user sits here. Notice that it's pointed exactly at the mesa. Right? So it would seem odd. Either that or they were trying to point it at the animal. But this is meant to transmit power out based on a fluid or bodily fluid sacrifice, which would be either from the person doing the ritual or the animal. And then this is meant to draw it back to the person doing the ritual. And then this symbolizes like the bodily fluid or whatever. So it's like a circuit board of magic to try and commit like an offering and draw power from entities or other earth. They believed that there was beings that lived in another dimension, and you would do something like this to try and make contact or communicate, which is really fascinating that they did this pointed at the mesa.
It's a little plastic bird. I can see it.
You're right.
Honestly,
There's like another little totem thing there, like a little bird. I don't know, yeah. It's like some little...
Your fortune.
It's a fortune-telling thing? What does that say? Your fortune?
And good luck will follow you. Don't let opportunity knock at your door in vain. Grasp it, and the course of your life will be different. You will be very happy with the one you... And it's
A Zoltar card.
Zoltar.
It might just be some, like, I don't know, somebody goofing around that thinks they're like a witch or something. If you think you know what animal it is, let me know. But the idea is that it's almost like a circuit board symbol where you're trying to transmit power from the offering to the environment or to the magical location. In this case would be the ancient valley and this ceremonial ritual location and the magic mesa itself. But also the way it's designed is to return energy and power back for whatever that individual desired. So somebody sat up there and either took the dead animal there as the offering and put that occult ritual symbol there in the rocks in order to try and do that, or something else was going on and they were just trying to bury their animal or their pet, and this was their sort of spiritual way of doing that. We really don't know whether their intentions were good or harmful. You would have to be there and know the person. But one thing's for sure, the people managing the property did not want it there. So I took all of the necessary proper steps to understand what I was dealing with, and then to handle it and to basically remove that from the environment. Now, the reason that I removed all of that is because this is an actual significant indigenous location that goes back thousands of years. There are real artifacts there that belong to the Native American people all the way back into the Paleo-Indian era and probably beyond, because the evidence all around it and up through the valley and the petroglyphs on the canyon indicate that this was a very powerful and important, significant location. Before I get into the significance of the mesa and the phenomena appearing on the mesa and how it relates to the stone circles or the prayer circles that have to do with the Native American culture down in the valley and up on top of the mesa that we've discovered, I'll also explain my current and best understanding of what all of the petroglyphs in this location actually mean when I got to go there with my friends Chris Bartel, Chris Lado from the Lado Files, and the Museum of Tarot's Brent Stone, when we got to go on a special trip up to Mount Wilson, and then I took them all to the Magic Mesa. But this is actually, you come up here, you might want to get your stick up at a good angle to see and extend it out.
Wow. This is the spot, huh? The shaman spot?
This is the shaman seat, yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know that. I was sitting here meditating, looking at all this and up at the stars for like 6 months, having visions and supernatural experiences, seeing shadow people move through the rocks and hearing voices, having visions and stuff. And then I found out later that right where I'm sitting is where the shaman would sit. It's right here to do his meditations as well, right on that rock. I bet he slept up here too. Probably up there. Slept up there, yeah.
And what
So
did you find out?
The story of the petroglyphs?
Yes, please.
So basically the story starts up there, so really we should go further and come back if we're going to hear it all in order. Should we
Okay.
do that?
Teaser.
We'll get a teaser and we'll come back to basically end everything up here, and then it goes down into the real world where it's supposed to happen.
right here. It reminds me of like the Far Side.
Like a Far Side cartoon, right?
Yeah. Here they are. It's like the first Far Side cartoon, you know?
First Far Side joke, right?
Yeah, there it is. All right, Carl, blow our minds.
Ready? Well, let Brent, are you going to film too?
My phone just died.
It's gonna blow our minds.
25% battery, it just died.
This is not blowing our minds right now.
You guys capture this off.
Here.
Mine is not blown.
All right, this is where a lot of the story begins. There is a lot more petroglyphs that are clear down in the valley beyond. I haven't even got to those ones yet. But what's amazing about these is that the story is told at one particular time of year, like in the summer solstice, right at one sunrise, when the sun is coming up through this gap in the rocks behind me up here. You can see where there's like little lines on the crack there behind me. The sun actually comes through that crack in the rocks and makes a circle of light, like a perfect ball, that appears right here on the bird shaman. Boom, like this, like he appears out of a ball of light, like an orb. So this big ball of light appears as the sun comes up. It goes like that, and just on him through the crack it appears, and then it comes over into his right hand like a staff. And then as the sun rises, the spear travels up and passes onto the villager. So he's just like the regular village man. Notice he doesn't have any clothes. He doesn't have the chest plate. He has a round head. This guy has 3 fingers on each hand and bird feet, like anthropomorphic feet. One appears to be injured or something, or shortened. But anyway, the spear travels up to literally right on this crack. And then it's like this guy and the light get carried up into this other dimension through portals. So then the sunrise comes up and paints the whole side of this cliff, right? So then as it unfolds into all this story, you see what looks like a man falling upside down out of some other dimension or something, and this whole story unfolding. And then you're supposed to walk down here through the rocks and then over the mountain. As the light appears, the story continues to tell what happens next.
I've got an astronomy program open on my phone for the summer solstice. Let's take a look at what that actually looks like. So you've got Venus coming up over the horizon, and the Pleiades, and Taurus. And right around at sunrise on the summer solstice, June 21st, right around 5 a.m., Venus and the Pleiades come up in Taurus. And over the course of the next 2 hours, the sun rises in the east, right where Carl said it does. And there it is, coming up over the horizon right now. Right there. And it would come right through this little opening in the rocks above us, if you want to take a look at that, Chris.
Right here.
Yeah, right up there. And it'd cast a shaft of light down here onto this rock.
With the shaman.
So we all need to have trip number 2, where everybody comes back at the summer solstice and we witness it ourselves.
Yep.
In the morning.
Also,
That'd be sweet.
And then you have the shaman. Boom, the supernatural figure. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. He's missing a finger on one hand. And look, his legs are here. He doesn't have any feet. He's got the cow horns and head. And then between the cow horns, just like you see in Egyptian hieroglyphs, you have the horns, or like the circle with the psychic energy above the head. You have this transmitting up and out, and it flies out like consciousness coming down. And then the story goes like this. It comes down and then it's all like happens at once. But this is like looking at a portal from the side. And you have the ordinary villager coming through the portal here. And here we have the symbol. Once you make this decision, there's no turning back. That's what that means. Like there's no going back once you do this. And then here's what's crazy. He goes from being a normal man with no clothes and a regular head to being full of whatever energy he got, like an out-of-body experience. See, it's almost like here's his body, here's his soul leaving his body, like an out-of-body experience. And as he does this, you see him become the shaman on his journey. You see how it's like normal man becoming the god, becoming the shaman. So it's like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4.
a black triangle.
Well, and then this
Why
was,
is he turning into a
this is
UFO?
what I've heard depicted is that this all depicts like that this was done with the whole village, and this is like an overhead of the village. But to me, these look like spaceships, especially when you look up there, because it looks like spaceships with people
You guys
coming
gotta come
out.
up here and see this shit.
This is the mesa right in front of this ancient ceremonial wheel. And we're going to talk about that because I feel like this is very important and tied directly to where the lights and this sort of crazy plasma shape is appearing and taking shape on the side of the hill. So here you have an overhead view of the mesa. Here is down in the valley below this ancient ceremonial wheel of time. It looks like a wagon wheel on the ground where ancient ceremonial rituals were done. Then on top of the mesa, when you zoom in, look what I found as well. Another one up on top of the mesa. So what I did when you zoom back out is I drew a line from the one down in the valley below on the right to the one on the mesa above up on the left. And when you draw a straight line and make a path between one ceremonial ritual wheel down in the valley below and the one up above, it just happens to fall on a direct path and a line where when you're standing down below, you see the phenomena appear on the mesa itself directly in line where these rituals were being done. And I believe this to be very significant. So if you were doing ceremonies to the arrow on the right on that ritual wheel, and then someone was up on the mesa on the one to the left, walking circles around it, doing a ritual dance and ceremony, right in the path in between those two on the hillside is where you see this phenomena appearing, this portal or dimensional opening occur, whatever you want to call it. So is that associated right in line and in path with the phenomena itself? I feel like it's very significant, especially in my research. So as you're standing here at the ceremonial Native American Wheel of Time, that ceremonies were done around this wheel in order to do it in conjunction with the North Star, with Ursa Major, Polaris moving around the North Star, and the Wheel of Time on top of the mesa itself, you would see this phenomena appearing in between the two wheels, right in conjunction on the path of where these rituals were being performed. I feel like that's significant. They would have painted the wheel in primitive times like this, and they do that in modern times today, where you have white to the north, black to the west, yellow to the south, and red to the east. And you would have had the center of the wheels be right here in the valley, and then on top of the mesa, right exactly in line where the phenomena seems to appear. This is what you see other examples of the wheel in the, you have dream catchers, ritual wheels on the ground, and also headdresses in all sorts of different varieties. You can look up the medicine wheel or sundance circle or sacred hoop is an ancient sacred symbol used by many tribes, signifies earth boundaries as well as knowledge of the universe. It also symbolizes balance to your own personal soul as well. We also have the fact that it revolves and symbolizes the Big Dipper going around the North Star. It directly correlates to Earth and time and spatial movement and our sense of reality as human beings. It gets mistaken a lot of times in its movement and the symbols. It got mistaken for the swastika as you have the North Star going, or the Big Dipper going around the North Star. But that is basically the Wheel of Time, or the circle, the wagon wheel going around the North Star. And it has ancient significance all over the world. In fact, in Tibet, you see it in the wheel of the Kala Chakra Mandala ceremony that the Dalai Lama does. And this also looks very similar to the Mesoamerican calendar that you see, the Mayan calendar. And so you see even on this depiction here, wheels of time, chariots of time. This also symbolizes going around the North Star with the Big Dipper and controlling portals and openings and gateways into different aspects of heaven. So like you see in Asia, they would have done circular dances or paths or walks around the wheel on the ground as the Big Dipper is going around Polaris in the sky. And this was meant to open up portals or dimensions of reality into heaven, or to communicate with supernatural beings. And it would have been done and performed by a shaman anciently throughout the world. It's a very fascinating ritual, and we find it here at the Magic Mesa. Is it possible that ancient primitive people could have been doing rituals around the wheel in the valley and on top in conjunction with the story in the petroglyphs on the cliffside up above, and that they either found this anomaly on the mesa that was occurring naturally and then built their rituals on top of it? Or is it possible that the rituals themselves had some kind of real magic to them and created the phenomenon on the mesa itself? There's a strange phenomena that seems to occur there in the valley at the Magic Mesa, where I've had some amazing experiences up around the petroglyphs when I've sat there and meditated. I've had what I would consider full visions, ancestral out-of-body experiences, where I've found myself almost sitting at a bonfire, listening to drumming, and had figures come up behind me. And then I've opened my eyes and seen dark shadow figures and shapes and floating balls of light moving around the petroglyph site in the dark. And I've had that experience there a few times, followed by powerful visionary dreams and other experiences. But down in the valley around the prayer circle, when I've taken other people there, even though I try to be careful, sometimes I've taken people there that start to do research and they want to get some evidence, and then negative things occur. Maybe they walk up to these prayer circles in the wrong direction and they go around counterclockwise instead of clockwise, or maybe they don't leave an offering first or do the right meditations before they go in there to make sure that it's safe. Because I believe that these places, if they do represent some type of ancient relic technology, that there could be portals to another dimension or quantum entanglement with the past and the future and other places that are associated with the cultures that have been there and the rituals that they did, with the stone circles connecting with this migrational route with the electromagnetic field of the earth, like we discussed in the previous episode with Roger and Colleen in episode 2 of our Real Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. If you want to see the whole significance of how the prayer circles and stone circles, as well as the petroglyphs, have to relate to this ancient mapping system, I highly recommend that you go watch that interview and that I did with Roger and Colleen. All of this connects all the way to Mount Wilson Ranch, all the way to Skinwalker Ranch, all the way to the ancient pyramids of Teotihuacan, Egypt, Easter Island, even Göbekli Tepe. It'll blow your mind. You got to go watch that video. It also has to do with all of the research that I've done with the actual team from Skinwalker Ranch and Chris Bartell when we went up to Skinwalker Ranch headquarters, went with James Keenan and others to look for the geological connections to the electromagnetic field. Is there rocks and geology that are amplified by the aquifers or a piezoelectric effect of the geology of the earth actually amplifying the phenomena or creating crinkles in time or quantum entanglement where time travel becomes possible or portals open for this strange phenomena to occur? Maybe it even amplifies human consciousness to where when you go in these places, it becomes almost like a dreamland where your own consciousness and subconscious manifests certain fears or apprehensions or imaginations into actual reality in instant time, almost like a dream, only it's happening in these locations. I don't know, we've got a whole other video that we can do about the theories of the phenomena and what could be going on there. We'll save that for another video. But speaking of James Keenan, when I actually took him to the Magic Mesa, and I've also took him up to Mount Wilson Ranch, and he has been very interested in the geology of these locations. He's taught me a lot about the electromagnetic field and using radiation detection, and he's got some great videos over on his channel. But when I took him to the Magic Mesa and he approached one of these ritual sites with a prayer circle, he walked around it in the wrong direction and actually got very, very sick.
All of these rocks are giving off a signal.
Tons of hot rocks.
Yeah. Now careful, you're walking in a circle in a ceremonial wheel. And you're walking counterclockwise.
It's just a hot rocks, lots of hot rocks.
Wow.
Does it mean anything? I don't think so, because they have just whatever rocks they could grab.
Anything right in the center?
The only thing so far has been right over there. See how they're putting
Artifacts in
in
the middle, yeah.
Don't disappear into the ether.
It is. That was
One full circle.
7.
What?
The electric field.
The electric field just
The
went up.
EMF is at 1.7. It went up from a 0.9.
You just walked in the counterclockwise circle and now the
Yeah,
EMF.
I was talking crap and
You just started joking.
not
See?
well, yeah, both the EMF and the electric field are.
I told you, I was like, don't walk counterclockwise. Be careful. And now the EMF is 55.
Now we're going to get into something really strange. So buckle up. This is something that I've never shared anywhere else before. This is the first time ever. The links to where all of this work is done are down in the description box below. My friend has done a lot of this work for me, Stephen. What I'm about to show you now, I haven't revealed anywhere else other than to my Patreon followers and just a couple of little samples. It's really hard to understand, but keep in mind what you're about to see is done by a team of individuals that have developed this quantum ability of peeling back levels of video image data. They can take the pixels and the visual data and extract frame by frame the hidden details of aspects of the images that you normally cannot see, almost like you would use night vision or thermal or infrared. It takes a lot of interesting principles that have to do with cutting edge quantum physics and applies it to the software. And my friends at Hidden World have been doing work on some of my footage at the Magic Mesa. And what they have found is actually quite shocking. Not only do the geometric shapes that appear on the side of the mesa seem to have some sort of other supernatural phenomenal quality to them that we can't quite explain, but even deeper within the levels of the data, we're finding details like faces, there's figures, there's actually hands and repeatable figures, and sometimes it almost looks like a supernatural soup of different faces. Now, I understand that there's pareidolia. I understand what that is, where you like look at the clouds or you look at rocks and you think that you see faces, you think you see shapes. But in some of these, I'm telling you, they actually have teeth. They look like they have noses, eyes, faces, hands, and they seem to be like this one seems to be like grabbing on to some kind of a rope, almost like a tether or a plasma chain. Maybe it's like part of the breaking opening of the wormhole or the portal. And it's almost like there's like a porthole there on the side of the mesa. And remember, this is in between these two ritual stone circles in this significant location that has been inhabited for thousands of years. And the petroglyphs and the rituals associated with have exactly to do with what we're finding in this evidence. So make of it what you will, but what we're seeing is what looks like almost like faces and figures, physical forms from an unseen realm pressing up against the glass, pressing up against our dimension of reality in some unseen way. And when you're standing there at the base of the mesa and these vehicle headlights come up and they hit the side of the rocks, somehow it creates this holographic illusion that amplifies the phenomenon. And so not only are we having supernatural effects and lights that appear and orbs that seem like people and figures that appear and move around in the valley and shadow figures and shapes, but we have these strange hidden world quantum view revealed figures that are like faces with eyes, noses, ears, mouths. They even have teeth. Some of them are sort of contorted. And now I don't want to freak people out. I don't want to give people this idea like there's this whole portal to hell there that's about to pop open. I don't want to cast any judgment. The only time anything bad has happened there is when people have respected the location and the indigenous artifacts there and the ritual site and trounced through it and been disrespectful. When you get in there with like a sense of sarcasm and you take it lightly, it seems like, sometimes people get hurt. In fact, I did mention at the beginning of the video that an individual recently died there. The way that the story happens, that it was told to me, was from a friend of mine who is one of the maintenance workers and caretakers of the property, who actually found the deceased individual and reported it to the police. And what happened is pretty shocking. There's really no clear explanation still to this day as to what that individual was doing down in the valley of the Magic Mesa. But it seems like they were trying to run away from something. Maybe it was like a drug deal or some sort of a bad trip experience, and they were trying to run away from something down there in the valley. But they basically stole into a truck and found the vehicle keys, turned it on, and they crashed right through one of the gates, which is totally unnecessary because he could have got out and just opened the gate. It's not really locked that well. So he crashed through the gate, destroyed the front of the pickup truck, and then even though the truck was still running, he proceeded to take a lot of his clothing off and run through the trees at night along the creek. And then he ran about 100 yards further up through the bushes and the trees, where he collapsed and then deceased in the cold in the night, basically face down. This is a terrible, tragic story, but when the individual who found this person down there in the valley reported it to the police, they actually said in their report that they thought that it could have been a skinwalker or something like that, a curse, because this individual was down there doing things they shouldn't have or something like that, and they got chased and scared to death. And that the whole report sort of fits some sort of like fleeing from something, some sort of unseen terror. Why was he taking all of his clothes off, and why was he running scared and scratching himself up through the trees before falling down and freezing to death, or however he died? The police chalked it all up as some sort of a drug-related incident, and to this day we'll never know. But you guys, I'm planning on going back to the Magic Mesa and getting more footage. If you want links to where I got my Psionic Black Night Vision camera, it's down in the description below as well, so you can go check that out. But I had a good time kind of explaining all of this, bringing you guys up to speed about the mystery of Magic Mesa. It's a really creepy location. I'm definitely planning on going back and doing more research there and coming back with more. So we'll see you guys in the next one.